Prince Harry, intercepted at Heathrow? That's the rumor tearing through royal circles and internet feeds like wildfire. But this isn't some simple customs hiccup.
No.
Insiders are whispering about a deep, rotting scandal tied to financial cover-ups, slush accounts, and even royal assets gone missing.
So much fun.
You and I are so similar. You and I...
With your guests, when was the last time you were surprised and delighted?
Last night, and also this morning, but last night when I went back to my hotel, and then you'd put your thumbprint in, which is what makes it a fun group activity, and you could fill it with jam, you could do chocolate, anything you like, of course.
Well, good evening from London. Welcome to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Today, Harry and Meghan torched what little was left of their relationship with the royal family and what little was left, frankly, of their own reputations. Last week was mostly sick of old revelations with a new twist. As it turns out, we've apparently been wrong all along. Britain is a nasty, racist hellhole where only magnificent Meghan stood up to all this.
And the twist? It all allegedly culminated in a stunning moment when airport security blocked the Duke of Sussex from re-entering his homeland without royal protections. Now, the question isn't just what happened at Heathrow, it's why. Why was he flagged? Why now? And what massive secret was about to come out that forced the Crown's hand so publicly? Because according to some sources, the scandal is bigger than just Harry. It could burn the entire royal institution. Let's get into it. It allegedly began with whispers, quiet, almost too quiet, about a financial review being ordered behind palace walls. At first, it was dismissed as routine, but then came a number. One insider claims it started with a single discrepancy.
This woman is a born manipulator. The Netflix thing, she doesn't do the work. She doesn't make the jams. It's all made for her.
No, the world's biggest victims right now are the Duke and Duchess of Netflix. And don't take my word for it.
This promise of once you're married, how hard I tried, no matter how good I was, no matter what I did, they were still going to find a way.
£873,000. Not enormous for royal books, but still unexplained. Within weeks, that number allegedly ballooned to over £5 million. And what connected it all? A tangled web of Sussex-linked entities, private LLCs, and vaguely named outreach initiatives with overlapping addresses and leadership boards.
What matters is what we have on the inside.
Oh my gosh, I worked so hard.
She talks like she's a one-woman band. That is not hard work. Hard work is get up in the morning, get to 7 o'clock, get into a factory or a shop and working for 10 hours on your feet, coming home knackered. That's not what happens to her.
And still being a mom.
That is not what happens to her.
The hours of this Netflix series paint a very different, far uglier picture of this country and our royal family.
It wasn't just messy bookkeeping, it was a maze. A maze that someone somewhere didn't want unraveled. Reports allege that the funds in question weren't just tied to private brand deals or US-based corporations. Several line items came from royal-adjacent sources. Funds originally allocated through partnerships, property leases on duchy lands, or charitable grants stemming from joint Commonwealth initiatives. Worse, at least 2 accounts under scrutiny were allegedly housed offshore, in jurisdictions known for limited financial transparency and aggressive client protections. One in the Cayman Islands. Another, rumored to be in a Southeast Asian territory long cited for housing untouchable banking setups for international elites. What raised red flags was how, and when the transfers happened. Some moved mere days after Meghan and Harry's last major appearance at a palace-funded event. One occurred during the same fiscal quarter their household announced they were stepping back from royal duties.
Hey, lowly cameraman, come over here and try some fried chicken. Try the fried chicken. Try the fried chicken. We need to make it look like I actually care about my camera crew. Come get some fried chicken. Act like you're having fun. Act like you're having fun.
I want my home to feel welcoming. Do you feel welcome? Does my soundstage welcome you? Mindy and I are such great friends, like besties. Like, I love her. Like, she doesn't know my name, but we're best friends.
This series, and they'll believe it. They'll believe the smears about Britain and our monarchy, that we're a bunch of bigoted and hateful people. They even blamed Brexit for the racism which apparently was aimed at Meghan Markle, which is just completely absurd. But by far the most sickening part of this show for me was the constant use of Harry's...
There's a real delight in being able to be a present parent. And it's a luxury sometimes because we all have to work. We all have a lot of stuff to do, but when you can take a minute to just...
Saturday morning.
Hello all. Sorry we're late. Our flight was delayed.
It was mint, though. Tell them we were in mint.
They gave you a mint. How lovely. I have some gum in my purse if you'd like.
Oh, we were in mint. It's like their business class. It's really nice. And
Megan, I'm begging you to stop now.
That's when internal palace staff reportedly began sounding alarms. Senior financial advisors allegedly warned Charles directly that certain assets were at risk of being unrecoverable if legal action wasn't initiated soon. Several longtime royal auditors supposedly resigned or requested reassignment, citing conflicts of interest or ethical discomfort. This wasn't just money that disappeared. This was royal financial credibility gutted. And just as the investigation began tightening behind the scenes, Harry booked a flight back to the UK. And what happened when he landed would change everything. Heathrow Airport has seen its fair share of royalty, but this time, it wasn't a red carpet moment.
It's about an hour-long cab ride, never seen his grandchildren. This show is packed with the kind of spurious claims and hypocrisy that have become the Sussex signature. We learned they began making videos about their heroic journey 6 months before their Netflix deal was even announced, and right at the start of a pandemic that was killing.
This also follows all the stories about her bullying staff over here in the UK, which is unresolved. NDAs stopped all that stuff coming out, but she bullied people in a very unpleasant way over here.
Harry and Meghan are the problem. And while we're going to go over all the people that they've hired, just as a great reminder, the couple have hired plenty of professionals before. People at high levels who have worked for Bill Gates, Patagonia, all these sorts of things. And yet none of them have been successful. The common denominator in everything here is Harry and Meghan.
About to, if you excuse the massive book deals, the Silicon Valley startups, the preaching videos about well-being, the podcasts, the speeches, and the major network interviews with everyone from Oprah Winfrey to James Corden. But they've barely been seen or heard at all, have they? Well, on Thursday, they'll quietly and apologetically release their $100 million.
It was something colder, something calculated. Prince Harry arrived via a commercial transatlantic flight, likely hoping to handle quiet business or personal affairs. But within minutes of landing, according to multiple online claims, things took a strange turn. He was pulled aside at a secondary checkpoint, reportedly under the direction of an unnamed security liaison. Witnesses describe hushed conversations, radio chatter, and what appeared to be documents being handed between agents.
We'll see King Charles do this because I don't think that he likes the fact that he's been accused of racism towards his grandchildren.
Wanting to exploit their royal titles, I think it stinks. And I think what King Charles should do, he should just strip them of the titles before we even get to the main event.
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
Oh, shut up. What do you mean the stakes are this high? Who do you think you are? Other than a latte-munching imbecile back of your head. This gruesome twosome only survived by cashing in on what's left of their royal status now. I said it before, I'll say it again tonight. King Charles should strip them of all their remaining titles and cast them out from any connection to the royal family. How could any of them trust them as far as I could throw them? Because without it, they're just whining millennial windbags.
One passenger claimed on Reddit that something weird was definitely going on. I didn't realize it was him until I saw his hat slip off when he turned. Sources suggest Harry was flagged due to an updated customs-linked intelligence database. His name, reportedly tagged with terms like financial risk, pending inquiry, and asset freeze, triggered an automatic escalation. Airport systems, especially for former diplomats or royals, are designed to flag even subtle legal concerns, especially when national money is involved. It's alleged that during this stop, officials reviewed his travel documents extensively and questioned him about his reason for re-entry.
Favourite little niece, Ashley. Meghan also sees she got no advice on royal protocol, forcing her to learn how to be a princess all on her own.
Joining this family, I knew that there was a protocol for how things were done, There's no class in some person who goes sit like this.
The only thing HRH stands for in association with Meghan Markle is her ruthless homewreckerness.
Zoom in here and it says, with the compliments of Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. That is a title that was stripped from her when she and Harry made their whole racism debacle and left the UK, left their royal duties, and moved to the US to bug all of us.
It's so funny, too, that you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know I'm Sussex now.
Press show her wearing pretty much every colour in the rainbow. The show opens with the claim that the royal family declined to comment on the series. That's another lie. The palace says it received one email from an unknown company and attempts to verify it reflects
his place of stay and, shockingly, his financial ties to several flagged UK-based organizations. Speculation is swirling that customs officers were under quiet orders from internal government agencies to monitor any attempt by Harry to move assets, deliver documentation, or meet with key figures on British soil. Was he actually detained? Not in the legal sense, but the atmosphere, according to alleged on-site witnesses, was tense. Some say his personal security team was forced to wait outside the restricted zone for hours, unsure of what was going on. Others claim Meghan was trying to get updates from the US via secured apps, completely locked out of communication. Eventually, Harry was released. But the damage was already done. The palace, media, and public were all made aware Prince Harry wasn't just flying in as a public figure. He was flying into active suspicion. And this sudden lack of protection made the whole thing even more volatile. It's no secret that Prince Harry's security status has been a long-running debate, both legally and financially. But in the weeks leading up to the Heathrow incident, sources claim the British government made a behind-the-scenes move. All taxpayer-funded security for the Duke of Sussex on UK soil was terminated. This wasn't made public. There were no headlines, no formal announcement. It was quiet, intentional, but the effect was seismic. For years, even after his royal exit, Harry retained a slim buffer of emergency support tied to his royal lineage, just enough to ensure safety during critical visits. But that arrangement, reportedly held together by backdoor negotiations and palace loyalty, was dissolved following the internal audit discoveries. Insiders allege the final decision came after a private meeting between top-level royal legal counsel, home affairs officers, and the king's direct advisors. The logic? With Harry now entangled in potential financial misconduct tied to the crown, it would be a reputational and legal risk to continue providing him any form of state-sponsored protection. So, when Harry landed at Heathrow, he did so stripped of every formal layer of immunity or backup. He wasn't a visiting royal. He was, for all intents and purposes, just another international citizen flagged for scrutiny. One palace staffer reportedly said the royal family couldn't be seen, shielding someone whose name is circulating in audit reports. The crown, according to them, had to protect itself, even from one of its own. Without security clearance, Harry's access to certain royal properties may also have been denied. Some suggest he attempted to arrange entry to a familiar estate near Windsor, but was told the grounds were temporarily restricted. Suddenly, the once dubbed People's Prince was standing on his home soil with no title, no escort, and, if reports are to be believed, an entire institution watching from behind closed doors, unwilling to help. But the palace wasn't just stepping back. It was preparing to move forward with force. Long before Heathrow exploded into headlines, something far more dangerous was quietly unfolding behind palace walls. A highly confidential audit had been ordered, one that would probe every corner of the Sussexes' financial ties to the crown. From property leases and Commonwealth travel stipends to collaborative charity events that blurred the line between public service and private gain, nothing was off-limits. At first, only a handful of trusted royal accountants were even aware. But as the data began to take shape, that circle grew. And what they allegedly uncovered sent shockwaves through the institution. One internal report, which has now been leaked to legal observers, outlines over £2.4 million in unclassified transfers from royal-adjacent funds to entities later discovered to be Sussex-controlled. These weren't minor errors. They included money originally earmarked for land development programs, public grants tied to youth initiatives, and even international climate partnerships. But it wasn't just the amounts, it was the timing. Transfers executed within 48 hours of major Sussex announcements. Transactions coinciding with the infamous step-back press release. Large sums quietly moved between entities just before the couple's final official UK engagement. The implication? There may have been a long-term strategy to redirect funds before any public fallout could restrict access. A kind of financial exit plan calculated, silent, and, if proven true, deeply damaging. When this report landed in the hands of third-party legal counsel, unredacted and digitally traceable, the whispers grew louder. What started as an audit had now become something more sinister, a potential roadmap to prosecution. And the legal wolves were already circling. The moment details of the audit leaked, the UK press erupted like a volcano. Gone were the days of cautious headlines and soft speculation. The knives came out and they came fast. Harry's financial trail of destruction, one front page read, plastered with grainy images of Sussex properties, bank statements, and blurred-out flight logs. Crown jewels stolen by Sussex schemes, screamed another, questioning whether public funds had been funneled into personal real estate. But perhaps the most brutal came from a former Sussex-friendly outlet, which ran the headline, "Built by the Crown, betrayed by the brand." The article accused Harry of weaponizing his royal identity to amass wealth, then discarding at the moment questions arose. The press didn't just report, they retaliated. And the public followed suit. Comment sections turned savage. Accusations of grifting, embezzlement, and entitlement gone mad dominated Reddit threads and viral TikToks. The public, once split on Harry and Meghan, now skewed heavily against them. Even influencers who'd once defended the couple suddenly went quiet, or worse, jumped ship. And yet, this media storm wasn't even the most dangerous fallout. While British tabloids scorched the surface, American authorities may be preparing to dig deeper. Reports are now circulating that the IRS has flagged several Sussex-affiliated nonprofits and LLCs for financial review. These aren't minor audits. They're potentially criminal investigations into dual income reporting violations, asset movement across international borders, and deceptive grant management. Why does this matter? Because when a UK citizen becomes a US resident, they are still subject to international tax treaties. If funds originated in the UK, especially taxpayer-funded grants or public program dollars, but were rerouted into US-based accounts without disclosure, that's a red flag. A massive one. One anonymous IRS consultant reportedly told a gossip outlet, if they declared less than they moved, or if they failed to declare certain UK-originated funds entirely, then they're in breach. Even Archewell, the flagship charitable foundation, isn't immune. Payroll disbursements, third-party contractor fees, and even marketing budgets are allegedly being scrutinized, especially those made during key dates linked to the now-leaked royal audit. If the dots connect, if Archewell funds trace back to Crown money, the fallout won't stop in the UK. It could blow up into a full-blown international financial scandal. And if the US steps in officially, Harry's problems may have just begun. With scandal erupting from both sides of the Atlantic, the royal family has made its position chillingly clear. Harry is no longer under the firm's umbrella. Insiders say King Charles, while saddened privately, has refused to intervene on Harry's behalf. Official communications from the palace now omit his name entirely. There are no phone calls, no olive branches, just cold silence. Prince William, already deeply estranged from his brother, is allegedly fuming. Sources close to the future king say he is actively working to distance the family name from Harry's legal baggage. He has reportedly demanded that no public defense, clarification, or funds be offered, not even in private. Even Princess, and famously neutral and loyal to the crown, is rumored to have walked out of a strategy meeting when informed Harry might attend remotely. Behind the scenes, royal aides are reportedly combing through historical engagements to determine if any lingering affiliations or documents might tie the crown to the Sussex's current financial storm. Everything is being sanitized. The royal family isn't just stepping away. It's scrubbing Harry's name from its ledgers. But one person, allegedly burdened by what they knew, refused to stay silent. Enter the mole. A former senior aide to Harry and Meghan, described as deeply embedded during their transition from royal life, has now come forward. While remaining anonymous for legal protection, the aide has allegedly handed over a cache of explosive evidence to legal teams already circling the Sussex camp. According to insider sources, the evidence includes email threads, internal memos, and spreadsheets outlining how certain funds were categorized. One document allegedly shows a directive to route overages through U.S. channels to reduce exposure. Translation? Move the money in ways that avoid legal heat. But it doesn't stop there. The aide claims they were pressured into signing NDAs that concealed financial decisions they believed were ethically questionable. Their refusal to stay silent, they say, comes from a fear of being implicated down the line. At least 6 transfers are said to be under review, each involving joint ventures where Sussex-linked charities partnered with royal or government initiatives. And in each, the end result was the same: money moved, oversight bypassed, and compliance blurred. The aide's files, if proven legitimate, may become the backbone of both UK and US cases. And for Harry, that could mean something even worse than public embarrassment: actual prosecution. The palace isn't speaking. The Sussexes aren't posting. And the media has turned from fanfare to firestorm. Prince Harry once walked away from royalty claiming he wanted freedom. But now, he might be losing everything: his money, his allies, his homeland. And if this alleged Heathrow interception is just the beginning, what comes next could bury more than just a legacy. It could erase his place in history. Because at this point, the only thing louder than the rumors is the silence.